When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube, and welcome back to the Grease Goblins YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about why did Otto Hightower really hate Daemon Targaryen. So, this video for me came a lot from my Maester conspiracy, as well as rereading the chapter for some of the Dance with Dragons, videos I've been doing last week and this week as well. But there really is not a clear implication as to why Otto Hightower just doesn't like him, besides some other stuff that we're going to talk about in this video. But before we get into the video, if you guys like to subscribe, like, and comment, please do. It helps the channel reach other people that might like this content as well. And let's get into it. So Daemon Targaryen is someone that is very much described as being someone that is kind of cocky, kind of a little arrogant, and having this big kind of personality, right? But that to me just isn't enough for why Otto Hightower just hates Daemon. I think there's something that's a lot bigger going on in this whole idea, because I think Otto Hightower is someone that definitely is in league with the Maesters, right? If you look at, the Hightowers, they're basically in the capital for the Maesters. I think they're very much closely connected. And if we look at some of the actions that Otto Hightower does in the future of constantly trying to make sure Daemon is not the heir, trying to get his own heirs, not his own but his, daughter's heirs into seats of power, and constantly being against Daemon, no matter what side he takes. And we even see this to the extremes of Rhaenyra. He was someone that he was in favor of becoming the next heir over Daemon, and then instantly, as soon as Daemon goes with Rhaenyra, that whole thing switches. And we also hear this rumor that Daemon slept with Alicent. Now, I don't think this is true. We never see any type of relationship come from this at all, really. So I just don't believe that ever happened. Maybe that's something that reached Otto Hightower and it's just something he didn't like. We also hear rumors about Daemon, but again, nothing really confirmed. Maybe Daemon just has his personal bias, or not Daemon, Otto Hightower has his personal bias against Daemon. As, again, Otto Hightower constantly is trying to get Daemon out of the city and trying to strip him of his power and all that, and we're really not given a great explanation of why. So for me, I think the reason of this is, I think Otto Hightower is trying to, cause dissension within the kind of the heirs and who is going to become the next king or queen of Westeros, because here's the thing. Otto Hightower, when Alicent doesn't have any heirs, chooses Rhaenyra. And he knows that is going to be a very contested decision, because Rhaenyra is a woman and Daemon is a man, right? And also, again, doesn't like Daemon. So, I mean, again, that would cause something of a civil war right then and there. He then, gets Alicent as the queen. There's a whole backstory into that. Something I might make a specific video on if you guys want, of how Alicent actually became Viserys's, queen. It's a really weird story, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially the way it is phrased as well. But overall, Otto then has, his own blood in the line, which then causes a civil war. Now, this civil war eventually ends up getting rid of the dragons, which is what I think the kind of the main goal of the Maesters is. And the Hightowers being in league with the Maesters, this makes sense, right? And Daemon being this arrogant dragon rider, great warrior, this is somebody that Otto would definitely not like. And I'm going to talk about this when I do my Otto Hightower video, where it's a breakdown of him and Alicent's life. But this makes a lot of sense as to why Otto does a lot of his actions that he does, and trying to get rid of the Targaryens in general, right? Because yes, he is marrying his family into the Targaryen power, but him doing this and knowing that, there's going to be a civil war that's going to cause the dragons to at least get fewer, is very beneficial for his house, as well as a lot of the houses of Westeros that are not the Targaryens. Because we look at the Dance of the Dragons, who really wins from the Dance of the Dragons? And it's pretty much everybody besides the Targaryens, right? Because if you're sitting here looking at all these powers of these armies, big thing was always, okay, the Targaryens have dragons. That matters way more than armies. Now, that's not so true. This is definitely a shift in politics where you needed to have all these houses supporting you, or you could not win a war because there was no dragons, right? Where, we saw Rhaenyra, even when, the Greens had that advantage on her earlier on in the war, she still had more dragons, and that was her main advantage. And she used that pretty well earlier on in the war. But yeah. So getting back to our main point, I think Otto Hightower hates Daemon for a personal bias of just believing in rumors, and as well as not wanting this kind of arrogant Targaryen who was a big dragon rider, good swordsman, coming to the throne when he had better options that could help lead to fall of the down of the Targaryens. So I hope you guys liked this video. I'll see you guys all in the next one, and bye guys.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.